It's the 27th of November, 2013, and we are here for Kanye West's interview on the Sway in the Morning Show on Shade 45. Brace yourselves, for this is the day Kanye tells the world that Sway doesn't have the answers.
And don't need them and do it yourself.
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't got the answers. You ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what
You
more
ain't
than
got.
me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the
Kanye,
answers.
relax.
You ain't got the
Bro,
answers.
relax.
However, this interview didn't start on an aggressive note at all. In fact, no one could have predicted that Ye would end up yelling at Sway. The show actually started with Sway giving Ye his flowers, praising him for his achievements in music, and even calling him the most impactful artist of his generation.
The most important artist of this generation. Over 21 Grammys, 6 consecutive #1 albums. One of the most impactful voices to ever grab a microphone. One of the most talented producers to ever produce music, fashion, art. One of the most prolific people to ever speak on behalf of his thoughts, to trigger emotions and trigger thought of you. One of the most clever people to ever manipulate the internet.
Sway talked about Ye's journey from when he was just a producer. He stated Kanye used to insist that Sway hears his rhymes, and also mentioned some of Kanye's many controversies.
Sway, you gotta hear my rhymes, man. You gotta hear my rhymes. I know I make beats, but you gotta hear my rhymes. Being on a train,
Okay.
Amtrak train, going to Philly, to now being mentioned alongside the President of the United States more than once. We talk about President Obama, but you forget some of the things that this man has said to really go against the grain and challenge thought
Right.
fearlessly. For example,
George Bush doesn't care about black people.
And then another thing is like people so gay conscious now. That's like the whole thing, like with the internet. Every day somebody, oh, I can tell he gay now, you know. But back in the days, people used to have songs called like "Get in That Ass" or something like that.
Remind me again who's the original Superfly. And I got love with hope, but I ain't fucking with that super.
After this, they started talking about the Yeezus tour and all the artists and producers that have inspired and influenced Kanye's music. But the interview starts to go not as planned when they start talking about the fashion industry and how the big companies have made it difficult for Kanye to have a brand of his own. A brand that doesn't have to rely on Nike or Adidas. Ye described the fashion industry as controlling and classist. He stated that they would make it impossible for him to succeed if he doesn't collaborate with them. However, Sway was of the opinion that Kanye doesn't need to collaborate with any of the big brands. Instead, he could just start his own brand from the ground up. Ye insisted that he needs to work with the big brands so that he could work with the best people and get the best materials at the best price. Otherwise, he would just be extorted by everyone he tries to work with. However, as the back and forth continues, Ye gets fired up and proclaims that he is the most impactful artist of this generation, and that trying to marginalize him would not help anyone.
Standing up and I'm telling you, I am Warhol. I am the #1 most impactful artist of our generation. I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Walt Disney, Nike, Google. Now, who's going to be the Medici family and stand up and let me create more? Or do you want to marginalize me till I'm out of my moment?
Sway challenges Kanye by telling him he doesn't need the big brands. He could just do everything himself.
or why don't you empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself?
How, Sway?
This is when Kanye goes off the deep end and lets Sway and the whole world know that Sway doesn't have the answers.
You empower yourself and don't need them and do it yourself.
How, Sway?
Take a few steps back to go.
You ain't
for
got
two
the
steps
answers,
forward.
man. You ain't got the answers.
Kanye.
You ain't
You-
got the
if you-
answers.
but
You
you-
ain't got the answers, Sway.
Kanye.
I've been doing this more than you.
Doing what
You
more
ain't
than
got-
me? Come on, chill out.
You
bro.
ain't got the
Kanye,
answers. You
relax.
ain't got the
Bro,
answers.
relax.
Ye gets blinded by his rage and his passion. Sway tries to get Kanye to calm down, but at this point, it was somewhat of a lost cause. Ye fails to realize that Sway isn't the enemy and was only trying to advise him on how to solve the problem he had. Kanye insists that Sway still doesn't have the answers. If you've not lost or spent $13 million to empower yourself or gone through the same route as Ye, it's kind of hard for him to take your advice seriously.
I'm asking you
You
a
ain't
question.
been doing the education.
Bro,
You ain't been doing the education.
Kanye, calm down.
You don't have the answers though.
Calm down.
Because you trying to give me advice about
No,
something.
no,
You ain't
Listen.
got the answer. You ain't spent $13 million of your own money
You're
trying to
absolutely
empower
right.
yourself.
Yep.
Sway states that he's invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in clothing lines. But pay close attention to Ye's facial expressions when Sway says this. And you can see Kanye clearly roll his eyes at Sway's hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of investment.
But I spent hundreds of thousands and putting out clothing lines at a smaller degree.
Kanye states that it's difficult for him to take Sway's advice when his clothing line failed and no one even knows its name. And you can't deny that this is great radio.
It ain't Ralph
but
level.
Let me ask you this. I'm asking
What's the
you,
name of your clothing line? We don't know.
Kanye,
You know what I'm saying?
Because I lost money. But that's not
Exactly, and I could lose money on a higher level too.
And that's
don't
what I'm
think
asking
just
you.
because
Wait,
don't think because I got
Kanye,
the most or the least money.
Let me finish my question, dog.
Man, no,
But
man.
let me hear the
You don't
question,
have
man.
the answers.
I'm asking you for the answer. It's a question.
Credit to Sway for keeping his cool and eventually getting Ye to calm down and stop yelling. It's important to state that Ye eventually apologized for his outburst, and both men eventually hugged it out.
I'm trying to understand your world because when I go to your concert, I'm curious about what you're saying. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you the questions.
Well, I'm gonna explain to you what it
Okay,
is.
but you ain't got to turn up on me man to man, dog. Fuck these mics. We could turn all this shit off. You ain't got to do this. It's cool. I love you, bro. Don't try to embarrass us.
I'm not trying to embarrass y'all. What I'm trying to say to y'all.
This interview eventually comes full circle, almost a decade later. In an interview with ABC's Lindsay Davis, Kanye West eventually agrees and admits that Sway did have the answers.
So Sway, almost 10 years ago, said, man, why don't you do it on your own? Was he right?
You know what? I will go ahead and say Sway had the answer. I know people are gonna be like,
However, unlike this interview, in some situations, the interviewer is actually the one yelling at the rapper. In May 2017, Lil Yachty was on the Everyday Struggle show, and he was being interviewed by academics and Joe Budden. Yachty was on the show to promote his new album, and he was asked by the interviewers if he was happy with the life he was living.
I don't care about the business part.
That's the
I
problem.
care about how Yachty feels.
I'm telling you how I feel. I am
You're giving
happy
me-
every day.
Wait, say that again.
Happy. I am happy every day because life is moving in such a positive way. I can't get slowed down.
But it seems Mr. Joe Budden is the authority on whether someone is happy or not. According to Budden, Yachty's answer was a media-trained response.
Maybe he has been media trained. This is a very media trained answer that I'm getting.
It's not immediate.
All right, so let me respond to what
It's
you're
just how
saying.
I am.
Okay, let me tell you about how humans are.
Okay, I'm listening.
After hearing Lil Yachty say he was happy all the time, Joe Budden then flew off the handle and told Yachty that it is impossible for Yachty to be happy all the time.
Cannot tell me, you would be lying to tell me that as a young man, how old are you?
19.
In this industry, in this music industry, in the music business, you are happy 24/7. That is a lie.
So-
that is bullshit,
so-
and I refuse to have somebody tell me bullshit. I want to have an honest
So when
conversation.
you come
He's a
from
positive guy.
a
Lil Yachty did explain his stance to Joe Budden, but you've got to wonder, will Budden have the same energy if this was a bigger and older rapper from a different generation?
when you come from a college dorm room with no money, okay, you scamming credit
Which is
cards.
all college dorm
and,
rooms.
And you ain't getting no play with no girls, you have no clothes, you have no car, and you come to having 3-4 cars, you got millions of dollars, $500,000 on your body just to wear, and any kind of clothes you want, any hoes you want, how could you be upset?
Because I don't.
Budden then lost his shit again after he asked Lil Yachty what he wanted from hip-hop, and he didn't get the answer he wanted or expected. Instead, Yachty stated that he's here to have fun.
I don't know. I mean,
You don't think that's a question you should answer at some point?
what do I want from hip hop?
Or are you leaving all of this to QC to figure out?
Nah, I mean, I'm making music, bro. I'm just having fun. I'm saying? My fans
You're
love
gonna have
it.
a problem with just having fun in 5 years.
What did you want from hip hop?
You're gonna have a big problem with just having.
Yeah,
you don't sound like you very aware with what's going on, and you one of the hottest niggas on earth.
But what do you want me to say? You want me to say?
I want you to be aware of your business. I want you to know whether you're in a 360 or not. I want you to appreciate the culture that changed your life and took you from college dorm rooms eating fucking oodles and noodles. I want you who's well spoken and articulates himself well.
My nigga. Chill.
Yeah, hold up. Yo,
However, while Lil Yachty managed to keep his cool, some rappers simply waste no time and just walk out of the interview. This interview happened in December 2018, and if you ever want an example on how to set a bad tempo for an interview, Ebro was a very good example for you. I mean, why invite someone to your studio and then start the show by telling them you are not exactly sure you wanted to interview them at all?
Good morning, beautiful Laura Styles, Rosenberg, Kodak Black in the building. Give it up one time, yeah. First time. Yo, man, first of all, I gotta be honest, I was skeptical on doing this interview. I saw your other interviews where you was wearing like a ski mask and all that, and I was like, I'm not really interested in talking to this, but...
The interview goes on for 17 minutes, with Ebro and his co-hosts asking Kodak Black various questions about his music and how he deals with fame. But after some time, Ebro asks Kodak about his sexual assault case, and this obviously makes the rapper quite hostile.
We take sexual assault here serious, and we can't, get into details, but we hope, to have you back so we can have a deeper conversation about that because, this is a serious topic, and we're hearing these stories a lot.
Kodak probably didn't want to speak about this issue because since it's an ongoing case, anything he says about it will probably be used against him in court, and you probably expect the interviewer to know this. However, it seems the next question after this seemed to even piss off Kodak more. And you got to wonder, why would anyone ask Kodak about a conspiracy theory concerning the moon?
We were talking about on the show today that for some reason I just have a hunch that you would care about. Is the idea that landing on the moon was a conspiracy. Kodak, do you believe that our moon landing in 1969 actually took place?
What the fuck y'all talking about?
But even after this, Ebro decided to stir the waters again.
You seem upset that I brought it up.
I feel like sometimes when niggas like be going through shit, like y'all be entertained by bullshit. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. So it's like, change the subject, I'm finna walk out.
Kodak clearly stated that he would walk out if they persisted with the topic, but Ebro's response showed that he obviously didn't care.
We'll change which subject?
Just whatever, like.
Well, they tried to change the subject. They was talking about the moon landing.
That's bullshit too. So talk about something else.
Well, I was saying, I think...
We don't have to talk about nothing else. We could be done right here.
All right, I'm going. Say less.
Well, that's a bummer.
I don't know. People don't tell me what to talk about on my show.
As Kodak was leaving the interview, you could hear Ebro complaining that he wasn't going to let an artist tell him what to talk about on his show. Kodak Black's interview definitely didn't go as planned, and unlike Kodak, some rappers don't walk out of the interview. Instead, they confront the interviewer and even make him quite nervous on his own show. The interview I am about to show you turned out to be the interview of that year's summer. In fact, The Breakfast Club ended up deleting the entire interview from their YouTube channel. Back in 2014, the 1990 rap group Onyx were doing their Breakfast Club interview. The interview started on a cordial note, as the group members talked about how each person was discovered and how they were eventually signed by DJ Jam Master Jay. But in the last 30 minutes of the show, the whole interview goes off the rails, and someone got checked on their own show. Charlamagne asked Fredro Starr about the time he was involved with Brandy, and this is when the whole interview gets quite heated. Fredro didn't want to talk about this because Brandy was allegedly underage at the time.
This your radio station. Cause you know why? This your block.
You know why? Because I know it was an ambush.
You got ran off your own block.
I don't know what them guys had planned. So I had to get out the way.
You got ran off your own block, man. It's all good, though.
It happens. It happens to the best of them.
Sometimes.
Why we got an issue, bro?
Fredro states that the reason he got quite aggressive is because Charlamagne brought up a topic he didn't like.
Why we got an issue, bro?
Because you brought some shit up that I ain't like, nigga, and I don't like that. I ain't no.
And fam, the whole issue only gets worse from here. It's up to you to decide who you think was right or wrong. But once again, this is just great radio. Charlamagne then asked Fredro Starr, "What you want me to do?" And this is when the rapper completely loses his shit.
I don't know what you want me to do.
You can't do nothing. You can't do nothing. That's what I'm saying. You can't do nothing, big man. You can't do nothing. I know it's so good.
I ain't here for that.
Playing the garbage. Don't play me. My name is Fredro Starr. Do your Googles. What the fuck you want?
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Let's move on.
Ask the question if we pass that. Let's get past this. This nigga in the eye on TV.
The biggest surprise in this interview is that it never got physical because it felt like Fredro Starr was really ready for anything. But this wouldn't be the only time a guest was really pissed with Charlamagne. Back in October 2016, Beanie Sigel stopped at the Breakfast Club for an interview with Charlamagne and DJ Envy. And this was around the time that Beanie was in a vicious beef with Meek Mill. And he also talked about his beef with The Game. Charlamagne stated that Beanie sounded like a hater on the 2 diss tracks he released against Meek Mill.
I heard you on Tax Podcast.
Yeah.
And then, you know, I was questioning you with your diss records, man. You sounded like a hater lately, man.
A hater?
Yeah.
How you say that? A hater?
Because I feel like, you know, you put out 2 diss records, but then you was in the studio with Meek like 8 days prior to the first diss record. And I'm like, if anybody else did that, I think you'd be saying that was a move.
However, Beanie felt that Charlamagne was not even qualified to talk about the beef.
I don't think you qualified to even say I sound like a hater because you don't know all the particulars. So how you qualified to say I'm a hater? Hate on what?
Well,
and why?
I'm just telling you based on
what you see. Why do you say I'm a hater?
And when Charlamagne continued to press on the same issue, Beans didn't hold back.
So what exactly was the
you ain't qualified to ask me that question. You ain't qualified to get that answer, bro.
After some time, Beanie felt that Charlamagne wasn't keeping it real, so he threatened to walk out of the interview. He then mocked Charlamagne about Fredro Starr almost beating him up on the show, and even called him a sucker.
So I should be out, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, that's me personally. I wouldn't sit and have a conversation with a
Yeah, you'll sit here and you'll bash a little girl, little mama till she cry. That's what you do. Coward, nigga.
Me and you talking to each other now. I tell you that I think you're a hypocrite.
You can think what you want to think.
And I think you be coming off as a hater sometimes.
You can think what you want to think.
So now what's next with
I can say I think you're a You let Fredro Starr and them check you, but you made that little girl cry.
They didn't make her cry, but
yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Although Beanie Sigel called Charlamagne several names, the interview never came close to becoming physical. But back at the 2017 BET Awards, this interview almost led to a fight.
Covering for so long, I'm glad it succeeded, man.
Hey, man, you guys are nominated tonight. Have a good show.
What are you trying to do?
Wait. No. Wait.
Where's that security guard?
So, the Migos were on the red carpet doing an interview with Navendra Alexis, DJ Academics, and of course, Joe Budden. And if you focus on Budden right from the beginning of this interview, you could easily feel and see the negative vibes he was given. Academics was talking to the late Takeoff about him not being on the hit song Bad and Bougie. And while the other hosts were paying attention to what Takeoff was saying, Joe Budden maintained a dismissive look. He never asked any question, and the only thing he was interested in or eager to do is end the interview.
I feel like there's like a running joke with you being left off Bad and Bougie.
I ain't left off Bad and Bougie. You think I'm left off Bad and Bougie?
Say again?
You say I'm left off Bad and Bougie?
What'd you say?
You say I'm left off Bad and Bougie?
Yeah.
Do it look like I'm left off Bad and Bougie?
What'd you say?
Do it look like I'm left off Bad and Bougie?
Nah. I mean, that's one thing I like about the group, because ever since when you were in jail, even though you might see one or the other, y'all move as a collective.
All right, we got to wrap this up, though.
You could tell the room had gotten quite cold at this time. And after Budden talked about wrapping up the interview, Quavo wasn't going to take no disrespect. So he told him to indeed end the interview.
Okay. Oh, my bad. I be trying to jump.
I couldn't
wrap
hear
it up
anything
then.
over there too. Close it.
Close it.
But this isn't even the worst of Budden in this interview. Academics then stated that the Migos were one of his favorite groups and artists, But Mr. Joe Budden wasn't having none of that. Instead, he dropped his mic and walked out on the people he was interviewing.
Listen, man, I wish I could talk to the Migos longer, man. It's one of my favorite groups. I've been covering for so long. I'm glad they succeeded, man.
Hey, man, you guys are nominated tonight. Have a good show.
However, the Migos were definitely not taking the Yachty approach you saw earlier. Instead, the whole QC squad pulled up on Budden right there at the award show.
What you trying to do?
Wait. No, wait.
Where's their security guard? Where's their security guard?
Joe Budden almost got beat up by the Migos and their entourage, but this beef didn't end here. After what happened at the BET Awards, Budden addressed the issue on his podcast, and he had some interesting things to say when he was asked about the incident.
This is in your house? I don't know.
I think I can take 2.5 of Migos by myself.
Not only did Budden say that he could take on 2.5 of the Migos by himself, at some point in the podcast, he called DJ Academics a pussy and even referred to the Migos as kids.
Academics is one of the biggest I've ever seen in my entire life. But he should never comment on anything that has to do with physicality.
This is also the gun era, by the way.
I'm not.
Everyone got a Draco. They don't want to fight.
So that's what everybody's telling me about Migos. Apparently, everybody views Migos as very tough guys. I must not be that familiar with their music. I still look at them like the kids.
However, none of the interviews I've shown you so far compares to this next clip. Not the Kanye interview, not the Migos face-off with Joe Budden, and not even the Fredro Starr interview. He needs no introduction. His name is Charleston White.
Keep them up, Chicago. Say, homie, you better, nigga, what you got? Man, you better sit down, homie. What you mean, what I'm on? With a gun in my hand.
On the 23rd of November, 2022, Charleston White was on DJ U's Go Crazy podcast, explaining why he gave money to Tuka's mother and FBG Duck's mom, Mama Duck, but not King Von's mother. Charleston revealed that he never knew about Von's mom's situation, and that when he heard about it, he didn't have enough money at the time, so he couldn't help her.
I knew nothing of Tuka and FBG Duck until now. And when I heard about their mamas, when I heard about those kids, mamas, and how they was being treated, I showed love. Even though I don't know nothing about King Von mama, y'all gonna show love to Von mama. I didn't have that chance. That I had at my fingertips. When I first made a video, saying, man, I heard about this kid Tuka. How the can y'all be saying this shit of his mama?
DJ U stated that most people in Chicago felt that if Charleston was gonna do that for Mama Duck and Tuka's mom, then it's only right that he does it for other mothers who lost their sons to gang violence. But Charleston White made it clear that nobody was going to tell him what to do with his money. Then he gives Chi-Town the middle finger and states that rather than them trying to tell him what not to do, they should give their own money to Von's mother, rather than expecting him to do it.
And I think with that part being said, the only thing that kind of like, I guess, bothers the Chicago community is like, if you go do that, you gotta do that for everybody.
I ain't gotta do that. Y'all go do it.
That's the reason.
So but Chicago is sucking my dick. Because how you gonna put that on me when y'all ain't even done a little what I done?
Okay, great.
How you gonna dictate what I'm gonna do with my heart when you don't even have in your heart to do it?
Most people would be wary about what they say concerning Ciroc and King Von. Charleston White really doesn't give a fuck. He stated that no one can make him care about Von's mother.
From the knowledge I got, King Von was a my mama had 2 sons locked up for and my mama let everybody know I'm not in agreement in what my son's done. But look. So this is what I'm saying. You can't make me care about King Von mama. I don't give a about his mama.
Fam, this isn't even the best part of the interview or the craziest shit Charleston White said during this podcast. Only Charleston White would say right in front of a camera, F them dead ninjas.
But I don't give a damn about it. I helped this mama. Why do I need to know about 2
I don't give a about Duck or Vaughn. I helped this living mama that preached about give a what they were. Why y'all not helping their mama?
Charleston White then completely loses his cool when DJ U tells him he can't use the F word when talking about Vaughn's mother.
Why from Texas got to pay his mama car note? Why? And y'all want to tell me what I'm going to do with my money?
Man, you want to do it because you...
I didn't... No. She asked me.
No. She asked
you. A goddamn lie. How I know that need a car note paid? How the I know she need a car note paid and she don't ask? You think I'm calling and asking, do you need your car note paid?
Right. That's why I say I ain't gonna say.
Come on, homie. So this is what I'm saying. Not one of my homeboy mama y'all will never have to help in Texas. Nigga, I'm tired of helping. So I can say fuck whoever mama. And I behind me saying they mama. I done helped them. So somebody else helped them hoe. And I ain't now. Could've. So y'all go help them. Since y'all got so much to say. Give me back the money then, ho! I ain't have to help now more of you rotten ass ho! My mama ain't got a bunch of kids that y'all you hoes! Your babies, y'all pain. Give me back my goddamn money, ho! Or in Chicago, fuck y'all!
This interview then completely goes left, and Charleston does something you would probably never see in any other interview.
I keep a goddamn gun for whatever. I keep a motherfucking gun. I keep a motherfucking gun. I keep a motherfucking gun, Chicago. Say, homie, you better, nigga, what you got? Man, you better sit down, homie. What you mean what I'm on? Put me with a gun in my hand.
After whipping out his strap, Charleston White eventually declares that the interview is over, and then to prove that he really doesn't give an F, he repeats exactly what DJ U asked him not to say.
He vibing with you,
He ain't vibing with me, telling me I can't say what I can say.
Man,
So I don't give a all that say. Me say what I'm gonna say, man. Who told you that? Say, homie, interview over.
vibing with you. Come on,
man. Interview over. He asked you why you was say, what can I grab in my motherfucking gun? Come on, what I can't say is say something. Nigga, you lying to me? You lying to me? I know what I'm hearing. I know what I'm hearing. I know what I'm hearing.
Chill out. Go.
Nah, y'all go. Y'all go. I ain't going nowhere.
No, bro.
I ain't going nowhere. I ain't wrong. I ain't wrong, nigga.
What's happening?
Telling me what I can't.
So, tell me, what do you think? Do you agree with what Charleston White said? And which of these interviews do you find most entertaining? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you in the next video.